This is, I want you to think summer, midsummer, July, maybe July 4th, with this flag and a sort of New Englandy looking building with white clapboards. I'm going to make my focal point the phlox over here, this purpley, pinky purple color, a little off center. Even though the flag is a pretty dominant piece, I will put a little bit of shadow over it near the end to tone it down so it doesn't sort of compete with what I want to be the focal point. But you're welcome to leave this in full sunlight and make that the focal point for you. So it's sort of just, whatever you want to do. The piece has a combination of loose, irregular natural forms, like up in the trees and in the flowers down in here, but then very architectural elements, sort of like a grid behind it. So this will be interesting. There are a lot of ways. There's, a lot of times when I do these classes, I kind of think what I'm teaching you is a sequence of, we always start with the sky, always do this or that. This one, you could start in a lot of different, you could do things in a lot of different sequences, and I'm just going to do one for you today. And here's my little sketch, and with the arrow showing that I wanted to get you toward the phlox. Okay, I'm going to start with my large brush, and I'm going to do the sky as I often do. I'm putting pure water on. I could go right through the roof, but I think I don't want to. I'll save that for a different step. And big brush, lots of water. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Now for a little bit of color. So I do want to get my sky. The trees will come later. I want to get my. Now you notice compared to the photograph, I have left some sky pieces, tree, but then I have sky pieces sort of in between. But that's just to give some variety up there. I didn't want to have a big wall of dark at the top of this painting. It sometimes makes it seem kind of closed in. I'm mixing a little cerulean, a little bit of ultramarine, and I'll just see how it looks. It looks too pale. Okay, so here we go. And I'll be painting over this with the tree colors later on. This is just sort of an underpainting, and then it's the sky holes will be the blue that you see. I'm going to leave a little bit of little sense of a cloud up there. I don't know if that's worth it. All right, knock that out. All right, and now I'm going to just jump to I'm going to wipe my palette. That's pretty simple. Let that set up. I'm going to start with my phlox. I'm going to use permanent rose, an ultramarine blue, and I'm just going to sort of dance over these areas. Phlox is sort of like an ice cream cone. It's rounded at the top and has ragged bottoms. So I'm not just making dots, I'm sort of making these sort of cone with these dome shapes with the colors. Somebody's got to take Diana's spot and ask me questions. What colors are you using there, or something like that?
Ned, I have a question.
Okay, and I'm going to get into the echinacea. I'm going to use cerulean blue with this one, and this is a little bit different purpley color over there. The echinacea. Okay, and that's,
But you know, another question is
and this I'm just
their finger.
dotting around here.
In the photo they are, but not on his palette, but it gets later as it dries.
And I'm gonna do the yellow black-eyed Susans. Get the new Gambo's yellow out. Pretty strong here. With a little bit of red, Windsor red. Okay, and I'm just gonna, if I look at those black-eyed Susans and try to do blossom by blossom or flower by flower, I'd go nutty. So I'm just gonna say, there's a whole bunch of them right there. Whole bunch of them there. Covering that post, I'm gonna go over it, even though in the photograph it doesn't. And I'm gonna have another batch of them up here. I see where they kind of run together. One or two renegades up all by themselves. A couple down in the bottom. Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna do, just because I'm gonna later go in and do the grasses, I want to get those flagstones in now. Let me just do a quick wipe, and then I'm gonna, after I do the flagstones, I'm gonna, then you guys can paint a little bit of alizarin crimson. I mean, ultramarine blue, sorry, and alizarin. Get a little bit of, again, this is a different purple than the other flowers, and I'll put in, I'm gonna put in this baseboard here. Cross, stop at the blue, at the White House. And I have a few, and some of these flagstones are pinky and some are blue. So I'm just gonna kind of alternate them. I'll get a little blue in this one. It's fairly pale. The grasses will be darker than these flagstones. Here we go with another. There's a alizarin one. I don't know if you can see on the screen. It's a different tone. There's that one. I mean, I'm really not paying attention to the slide. I'm going to do a blue one here. I'm going to do another alizarin one over there. I'm leaving the holes in between, which will be eventually be yellow. Okay, there's that. There's that. These nice flagstones made from the quarries up in the hills near this house. Again, alternating some bluish ones, some more reddish, different kinds of flagstones. And I got those sort of laid in. I think I'll put in a very, very light tone over this area in here. I'll wait until I get into that shadow spot further back. Okay, I'm gonna, let's see. I'll stop right there, but about 7 minutes of painting, a lot of wash up here, but then a lot of little ditzy things down here, but we'll go in and fill in around them later. So I'll give you some time now to catch up with me, and give yourselves about 7 to 8 minutes on this, and we'll see how we do. Yeah, the trick in all of this is, okay, so I really can't, I'm not sure if I can, I don't think I can quite paint into the sky yet because it's a little bit too wet. So it's figuring out places where you can paint where it's not going to bleed into something else. Okay, I'm going to put a wash over the foreground. this foreground area that is like lawn. By putting the water down, it means that then when I put the color in, it kind of floats and it kind of moves. Okay.
You want in between the
But yeah, in between the
flagstones?
flagstones. And now I think the flagstones, mine have sort of dried. Well, let me, yeah, that's a concern. Okay, so let's, I'm worried that my flagstones may not have dried, so I'm gonna, where else can I paint? Okay, I'm gonna paint the lavender fronds above the,
Mhm. I want the sky.
above the black-eyed Susan. So we're gonna do ultramarine blue and alizarin, and that usually gives me a pretty good purple. So I'm gonna throw some of these fronds out. Yeah, they're off to the side there, Judy. Yeah. I don't want these to look too stick-like, so. Yeah, the edges of them, I'm putting a little dots of color so they don't look like tree trunks. What the heck was that?
Hello?
Okay, so I leave that. Now I'll go back into my grasses. What am I going to do? I'll use some new gam. This is a pretty strong green. So new gambo is yellow, and cerulean blue. Pretty strong. Here we go. A little bit more blue. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Across here. Through there. Right up to, now I'll make a few little flicks here that maybe the lawnmower guy didn't quite edge the lawn very well with the weed eater. All right, I'll throw some more. And if the yellows and blues aren't perfectly mixed, that's okay too. You know, you can have some areas more, and then again, flicking, making a kind of a ragged, irregular along this piece of wood here. Come on, I need to just get some color. Could be using a larger brush to make things easier. Ultramarine and cerulean. Back into here. Across. Let's go across in here. I do want to get rid of those white lines in between the what do you call it, the flagstone, because that will sort of jump out and look a little awkward when it should be grass in between these flagstones. All right, let's get a little more.
Wow.
What happened? And I'm putting a few little flicks here, just like, just indicate a little bit of grass coming up between these flagstones. I don't want to go crazy on this, but I do want to make it look
Believable.
unbelievable, yeah, or whatever it's called. Okay, so we've got the greens there. And I'm going to get the darks into the black-eyed Susan. I'm going to get my darkest green is raw sienna with ultramarine blue. my darkest yellow raw sienna and the darkest blue ultramarine, and look at that go down here. Whew. So this is the greens in between and underneath these the black-eyed Susans. And sometimes that black-eyed Susan color, or the leaves are going to come right down a little bit into the grasses down here. So I'm going to overlap it a little bit. A little bit more blue. And I'll put that dark green right up against that lavender. Whew. Oh boy. Okay. And I'm just drop a few more darker blues in the middle of this, and I'm going to stop. Black. These black-eyed Susans are like terraces. They kind of go across, a little bit darker underneath. Okay. I've got green on my brush. Might as well. Should I stop now or do these trees? I'm going to go ahead and do the trees. I got the same colors out, or some of the same similar color. I'm going to use new gamboge and ultramarine. I'm just going to get into these trees with a big brush. This isn't going to be too tricky. Now let's get a little bit darker. Oops, too much. Okay.
Ironically, in some cases, it's not the color, it's that brush you've got.
Yeah. Now, right at the ends of these tree shapes, I'm making kind of little flicks. This is my smallest piece of blue sky piece. When you're making a straight line, just go right along, just pull, 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 and then pick up. Don't try to dab at it like you're
Like me.
touching with a Kleenex or something. And I'm making the and some parts of these trees are darker than others. Again, as I get out, I make little flicks to make it look like leaves coming out. Wow, do I want to go all the way down into that or what? I think I'm going to have, since the roof is going to be fairly light, I'm going to put this dark green up against it. And I'll keep on going.
By the way, the roof,
Yeah.
yeah, you make your grays go a certain way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, there's like green light reflecting against it because of all the trees.
Oh, is that right?
But there's also a ton of red or pink in there.
There is a lot of pink in there. That's what I saw. Okay, I'm sensing that the light is coming from the left, And so the right sides of my trees are going to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab a little bit more blue on this side. Let's get those blues in stronger. There we go. I don't want these trees to look too flat. So if they start looking flat, I just add a little more color into some areas. So you get this mottled light and dark thing. I need some more blue up there. While it's still wet, I can make some marks that don't. Okay, a little bit more blue and I'm about done. There we go. And if you ever want your greens to get even darker, put a little bit of red in them. They get real dark. Okay, I'll show you. Let's grab a little bit of red. There we go. That darkens that baby up. Yeah, a little red, you'll look at any paint or any impressionist, they'll often have reds inside greens. Okay, good. I'm going to leave that. I like the fact that these sky pieces are a little bit different shapes. They kind of lead my eye, hopefully, toward those flocks. Turning this around a little bit. Okay, so I've done a bunch of greens. The light greens for the foreground, some of the dark greens in around the black-eyed Susans. I didn't get into the flocks over here. We can do that later. But yeah, okay, I'll let you guys catch up and start dancing around with your greens. Okay, I'm ready to start in with the next section. We need to get the background lawn through the breezeway done, and some of the foliage and greenery in the phlox and the echinacea, and we'll save most of the house for the last few steps. Okay, so I'm going to. This is a pretty large area back here. So, and I'm going to go right through the fence posts here because whatever green I put in the background, it will be the fence posts when I put them in will be darker than the green. So I'll just paint that color, that dark color, right over the lawn color. So here's. Okay, I'm going underneath the flag. This is just plain old water. It helps me to. I do it. No, I'm not getting it. I'm not going to get into that floor thing because I don't want kind of a greenish in what will eventually be sort of a purpley area or shadow area. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use Oreo. I think that background lawn is brighter or lighter, receiving more light than the lawn in the front. So this lawn is going to be Aureolin and Cerulean because we use gamboge down here. And I think Aureolin is a lighter color. There we go. Let's get a little sunsplash feel on here. There we go. I do have to be careful with my lines. I don't want to get that green in my house. I pull it right straight down, right straight across the bottom there, right straight along those edges. I'm against the flag, coming right down. Reload the brush a little bit. Boo, 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 boo. No,
Which blue?
I got the cerulean. So that's the lighter blue too. The lighter yellow
And the
and
greener.
the lighter blue give you a pale green. This is a nice color. I like this. It's a very springy color to me. There's the color of willow trees too, I think. Okay, so here we go. Let's just put more color across there. This is not tricky painting. I mean, it's just a big rectangle. Judy's trying to keep up with me. And now I'm going to go do some of the greens down here. I'm going to start with a little bit of burnt sienna. I did put out new burnt sienna this morning, so it's really sticky. That's one of the stickiest colors. I hate that when it gets. Okay, so down here in the grassy area, or in the we're going to call it the dirt area of this, I'm gonna throw this right across. This is kind of a reddish brown burnt sienna through there. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to just take new gamboge. Well, you know, I need some greens. So what am I going to use? I'm going to use gamboge and raw umber for some of the colors underneath the echinacea. And if some of this greenery blends in with the if I should talk. Blends in with the dirt, that's quite all right. I'm going to put some greenery up. I don't know if you can see it in your photograph. There's a little bit of green, something or other, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to climb up the side of my house there with some sort of green thing, and I don't know what it is. That's to block in, keep your eye from running off the page. Okay, then I'm going to take Aureolin and New Cam. Pale green for the stems of these things. There. Now, this starts to look a little like a fan. I'm going to grab these phlox will have little, they have little leaves going off the sides of these stems. So I'm just going to put a few little marks like that to relieve that spiky stem look. This is new gamboge, and I don't know. Do you know phlox? They you know, these leaves stick out like.
Do we have phlox down here?
Yes.
Or is that a total?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I have block heaven in my place. Of course, the deer eat them.
Does it? Is that right? The deer eat the phlox?
Yeah, you guys are right.
Yeah.
Why would you eat blocks? Well, the flowers.
Well, for deer, it's the midnight buffet.
Okay, this is starting to look a little bit like barbed wire. Oh no. I want to put one more flower in here. Can't get the color right. Maybe one more into that window over there. Okay, that could be a problem. Because later I won't. I want to put in my window, but I don't want to have a bunch of. Okay, so that's how's that work? Right at the top here, I got a little bit of a garden. I'm going to put. I've set up a little bit. I'm going to take raw sienna and my ultramarine. I'm just going to give it a little too dark. Just get a little hint of maybe it's either the background, the tree line of the woods in the back, or in the picture, it's like a garden back there, but I'm not really going to get into making a garden back there. I'm just going to have,
Like a tree line.
yeah. So I'm just going to have a sort of dark color. Maybe if it's a tree line, I have to get it darker. So Judy says we're doing a tree line up there, so we'll do a tree line. So I have some dark ultramarine blue in it at the top, and it's kind of fading down. There we go, and I'm going to let that. Okay, we're going to stop there. We'll save the flag and the roof for another step. Okay, go ahead. Again, the green in the background, and then some of the foliage or the greenery down in your echinacea and phlox. Okay. Okay, I'm ready to start up. Now, this is a painting where you do want to be careful that you don't have things bleeding from one thing to the other where you don't want them. I don't mind bleeding when you have stems and into dirt or onto lawns, but when I have a roof edge, I want to make sure it stays sharp and doesn't get too muddy with other things. So by now, I think the greens up above are dry, so we can put in the roof. I couldn't have put in the roof in an earlier stage, just because I don't think the greens would have bled down, and that always looks a little weird. Now, the roof is a gray. If I look at the white of the house, I'm looking at the photograph now. I look at the white of the house, and then I look at the roof. I can see that it's light, but it's a little. It's not white. So I'm gonna put water up here. Get one big rectangle. I'm gonna also do water on the breezeway roof. And both of those are asphalt shingles. We have, what do you call it over here? Slate shingles over here. Okay. So for the asphalt roof, I'm going to, it's going to be a kind of purpley of some sort. I'm going to try a little ultramarine blue and Windsor red. I've been using alizarin already too many times, so I'm going to try something different. I could use alizarin. I sometimes feel like I go back to that too often. A little bit more red. Okay, and I'm going to throw this down. And a little more red in there. Okay, I'm just, it's all pre-wet, so once you put it down, I gotta watch out, hit my head on my own camera here. Okay, good. That's done. It's pale, but it's not white. Now I'm going to go into this slate roof, which I see. I don't know. I want to make it look like it's a little bit different. I'm going to use cerulean.
You read that first?
I did. Cerulean and alizarin, just to mix it up. So I have a different. And is it lighter or darker? Oh, it's almost the same. Cerulean up. Okay, and this is the slate roof I see as being a more cerulean blue. There, so I got these. I pick up my beads of water. I don't want to have these things make a mark there. And now let me do now that's drying. I can't do anything up around there or I'll bleed into it. Now let's get the damn flag. Because everything is dry around it. So I'm going to start with my blue, ultramarine. So a few times I'll just use pure ultramarine because I think that's the perfect flag color. And I'm going to, I can't count these flags. The stars, I mean, I can't do tic-tac-toe with this because they're not in
watercolor fake.
Yeah, it's the old watercolor fake. Now let's see. So that's a red. Okay, good. That's a white. Yeah. Okay, I gotta keep track of my stripes here too. At the edges, but then in the middle, I'm just dotting my brush and keeping kind of an irregular. At the edges, I'm going to draw a line there, and then I'm going to come in. Do a good sharp edge. And then the rest of it, I'm just dotting in and hoping I'm not getting it too. Okay, there. Looks like sort of like a flag. Okay, I'm going to use a smaller brush now. I'm going to use just pure Windsor red. Oh boy, here we go. This edge here is, now the trick is going to be to keep your red lines and the white lines the same thickness. So here comes my first flag line. And here comes another one. I want to try to make sure that the white and the red are the same thickness. Oops, well, if I wobble a little bit, that's okay. How many reds are there? 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then right at the corner of my flag, there's another red.
There's 13 stripes altogether.
Yeah, and I'm lucky. Next to the blue, I have a white stripe, so I don't have to go up against that with a color. Here we go, and then we'll start up here. There's that. I want to make sure I get all the way to the bottom now. Oh boy. There are 3 on this side. Okay, here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh boy. Who's laughing at me?
Ellen.
That's Lori or Ellen. I can't tell.
You got it. It was just a chuckle.
Yeah, no, it's every time we see this sort of thing, we think of Ellen.
Okay, so I got it as best I can. Stripes. Maybe this needs to be a little bit wider. This could be a little bit wider. Okay, I'm going to leave the flag is. I'm going to leave it alone, and I've done my roof. I got to leave that alone. I've done the flag, and I'll let both of them dry while you guys paint. I've already changed my water twice. When I had all that green stuff, my water was really gunky. So if you're starting to paint a red flag, you don't want green water. So it's not a bad idea to change out your water. Okay, we'll come back and we'll do all the shadows on the house, and we're getting near the end. We're going to tighten it all up. The shadows will lock things into place. So have some fun with that flag.
And then what's after the flag?
Okay, we're going to start in on some of the shadow shapes on the clapboard house. I'm not going to get underneath here right yet, but I'm going to do the shadows here and the shadow and some of the lines. In the clapboards and this vent up here, I want to get in. Ooh, that line doesn't look right. There's much more. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the shadows underneath the eaves of the roof, this, and then on the other side. And I'm going to do some of the lines of the clapboards. And some accents around the windows, and of course the roof vent up here. So here I go with now I'm going to my old standby, the ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson. I've got 2 red if you're looking at the video there. Okay. Now I see a little edge right underneath that roof line. This line is darker. This color is darker than the roof. If I squint, I can see that.
That's gonna be straight on purple.
Yeah. Yep. There we go. Why do I have those blushes there? And then I'm going to take this color and I'm going to make a little accent line down here because there's that little trim there. And I'm going to take this line across.
Oh, Ellen's gonna have a field day with these.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Sorry.
Those
boy.
may remain pencil for me.
Me too, Ellen.
And as I do this, you guys can't see me, but I'm standing above my paper and I'm moving my legs, my hips. I'm not really moving my arms.
Oh, is
that-
this the torso move thing that you were talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to put a little edge around this shutter because it's going to have, I see the light coming from this way. That's just me.
Let's see the hips move.
Oh, you don't see the old hips move? Okay, here we go. Start here, finish over there. Start here, dot around the flowers, come out on the other side. I don't want these things to start to go downhill, so I gotta be careful here. And I'm just dotting, I'm just jumping between the flowers to create another line. That gets a little bit tedious down here.
And your left hand is giving you.
It's steadying me, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to do the same similar thing on the other side. I'm going to reload the paintbrush, and this is what's not really in the photograph. I'm doing, this is a shadow underneath this gable. Now I need to do these this vent. And these are pretty thick openings here. You want to have a nice vent like this. With no air conditioning, you need a little something to vent the attic.
And this place is up in Vermont?
Yep.
Or this is your place in Vermont?
It's not my place. No, so. Okay, I'm going to put a few lines here as clapboards.
Oy vey.
Okay, what else am I going to do? There's a little piece of trim there. Oh yeah, and of course I got clapboards over here. I'm going right up against that shutter. Okay, and then there's some. I've got to look at the photograph. There's some trim around the window that is not in light. That side, a little bit on this side too. There's some white between the window and the shutter. There's something there. There's definitely a dark piece underneath there. Okay, and then I'm gonna.
Not that it matters, Ned, but what kind of flowers are those?
The pink ones are phlox. The pink
Oh,
phlox.
okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit of a dark line here. I'm doing another line to indicate the clapboard in the shadow. I don't know if this is too wet to do here. Maybe I can do that. Okay. Okay, I think I've hit a stopping point. Oh, I know. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a line underneath this post. And I see a shadow coming down from the post. Now I'll get into these shadows next, but I want to get that in. Okay, I'm going to stop there. This doesn't take very long. Then we do have to get the shadow inside this breezeway, which will really pull the whole thing together. And we do have to do window shadows too. Okay, I'm going to pause right here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120,
started with a light purple?
Yeah.
Ned, since I can't paint yet, I went out and raided my garden.
You're gonna do what?
I went out and raided my garden.
Oh, what do you have?
More peonies. I've got
Mm.
dozens of
my.
blooms.
Oh my. Eh. Wow. Put those in a glass jar and do a little study. Those are great.
I know. Look at this pink.
Yeah.
That would be
yeah.
hard to do.
The trick is what do you put it against? Do you put it against your own window, which then makes them backlit, might be too dark? Do you put them outside in the full sun, but then they're going to kind of wilt on you?
What would you put in the background?
You know, if you have a light, a wall in your house, it's a light color, maybe just put it against the wall and maybe have a light or a lamp or something on one side. Those just cry to be painted. Those are beautiful.
But how do you do that many petals? I mean, that's the overwhelming.
Right. So sometimes even if you look at the pink flowers, if you squint, you could almost leave parts of those white because when the light hits them, they're so bleached out. And you just have to squint, Diana. You can't try to paint each petal because you go crazy, but you kind of look and say, you go, okay, where's the darker chunk and what kind of irregular map does it make?
Okay. And some of them have, which I saw in your painting too, some of them have different colors. The
That's right.
darker down inside.
Yeah. Inside there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those are, I mean, they're hard to paint, but they're so beautiful. All right, well, we got lunch coming up, so I don't want to overdo things. So now we're going to do the shadow underneath the breezeway. And then also, okay, and we'll take that shadow color and we'll make the post in the background. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I'm going to take a little alizarin and ultramarine. Wait a minute, maybe I should pre-wet it. I think I will. I'm going to pre-wet this. I'm going to go right down that diagonal. Oops. I'm going to leave a little white trim right under the roof line there.
It's easy for him to say.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, and I have a little diagonal of white in the way background there.
What do you want on your brush, or is it just dirty water?
It's just dirty water. Does it come out on the thing? Yeah, it does. It's kind of it's a muddy water. It's there. It's kind of a yellow. Okay. So I'm taking ultramarine and alizarin and a little touch of the raw sienna. I'm gonna put that over there. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. Gosh, it takes me a while to make these colors. Okay, here we go. Put it on there. Nope, not dark enough. Yep. And now we need some more. Okay. This is going to be a dark color. Come on, we got to get it darker, darker, darker. And because it's going onto water, I actually need it darker on the palette because it'll dry out, it'll lighten up under the water. Okay, this is dark. Above my flag, but below that line of the roof. Okay, let it dribble. Wow, I got a little hair on my brush. That's a little annoying. Reload. I'm going to go down right over that doorway. I am going to go around my. Wow, look at the thing move, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be careful here. Okay, right across here. Up against the flag, up against the flag, up against the building. Okay, then I'm going to take that color and I'm going to bring it right down. This is going to be the background posts. Down. These are the thick ones. This is thick paint or thick brush. This is a thin line. Come on, stay thin, be thin. Thick line. Thick line here. Thick line there. Wow, look at that. Gotta be careful that I can't have it dribbling too far down. Okay, then a thin, 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 thin. Good. And since I got all the darks going on here, here comes the dark right under here. This is the breezeway that's in shade. And now if that post dribbles into this, it doesn't bother me much. Okay, this is where the breezeway is in shadow. I'm going to go around my flocks, which is in sunlight. There's that. I see a little lip on the edge of the flagstone breezeway. I'm going to put that thing in there. I'm going around. I'm going to put a couple. What do we have here? I got a couple lines. This is way in the back. I got a couple of these. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that too much. Okay, what else do I need? I know. I got a step there. I want to leave.
Or also YouTube video for dogs.
Okay. While I got this, just we're on the last stages, so I might just finish off everything, and you guys can either finish at home or finish with me in the next 15 or 20 minutes. I'm going to do the windows here, a little bit of alizarin, and I do hear those birds.
But they now have YouTube videos of that sort of thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, dogs like to sleep to it.
Is that right?
Well, my son goes, yeah, the dog's watching is sleeping to a YouTube video. And then he put me on FaceTime, and sure enough, he had a YouTube video on with birds. He said they like to listen to birds and squirrels.
I don't know that squirrels make any noise, right?
Yes, they do. Well,
Your feet do.
Only if you pick them up and squeeze them.
Yeah. Don't make me laugh. I'm in a very tricky area, Kurt. And I'm going around these little flowers
Don't make him laugh.
Yeah.
Or if the dog chases the squirrel.
You have to be careful with them adding in those bird noises. I don't know if you remember one time they were doing that with the maskers and just adding in bird song to make it more poetic. And someone called in and said, "Wrong kind of birds. Those aren't in that area."
Well, birds can't be at the Masters. They don't have a ticket.
They don't have a ticket. They won't let them in. Too exclusive.
Okay, and I've got the green of the shutters. This is what's that one? Raw sienna. I'm going to use the cerulean. Funny green, isn't it? Okay, there we go. Good big thick shutter. So I've just done my shadow underneath the breezeway, doing the shutter, getting the shutter in here. I'm gonna do another, I've got one more shutter. I put it in over here. You may not have it, so that's all right. I gotta go around these lavender things. A little hint of it there. All right, so how are we doing here? That's, give me a line there. Okay, that's pretty wet. Now I have I'm doing the screen door, dark with a shadow across it. I gotta look up. What do we have? We have a line here. I have a line here. So I have a clapboards going off here. Screen door has those little panels in them. I got maybe a little bit of a line here. A line up here. What is this line? I don't know. I'm going to put a little line right here to mark the corner of the house. Okay, and there are a few places where I can put in a few lines of those, the beams underneath there. I'm putting in a few clapboards in the shadows. This gets a little tricky because this and these clapboards go downhill toward this spot. This is the vanishing point. But then the ones down here are actually going uphill. And you got to watch that. Good. And then the last thing is a little piece of a red. I have a red brick step down here. And I'm going to put a shadow tone over it in a few minutes. I'll leave that. What am I going to do with this thing? This is too bright down here. I'm just going to put a tone over that piece of wood to kill that. What else do we need? Okay, and the last step. Ready, Judy? Here goes this. I'm going right over the flag with a shadow color.
A penumbra shadow.
Like I said, I didn't want the flag to be the dominant color here. That was just me. And I'm making a little bit of a wavy line down here, so it's not really straight. And there, because a little bit of sunlight's touching it. And we'll leave it at that, I think. Now, the only thing I can do now is go back into my couple of my flowers. If I want to put some darks underneath them to give them a little bit of three-dimensionality.
So what did you want the dominant Focus
The
to be.
flocks. I really like the pinks over here. And it's a good, Diana, we've learned that's a good place for a focal point, off center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That train again. And I haven't done the tips of the black-eyed Susans. Right at the tops of these things, I'm going to put a few little dark blops. Oh, that's too big. And I put right up against the edge. Right against the white, so that it kind of stands out a little bit. I don't want it to look like measles here, but I hope it looks like black-eyed Susans. I don't know. Okay, I think, and one little teeny piece of shadow up here. That helps to differentiate one roof from the other. Another dark line there, and I think that sort of does it. You can always go back and do a few little details, but I think I kind of got the most of it. Okay, so there we go. Finished with 8 minutes to go before noon. So if you keep working, you'll finish by noontime. I'm sorry to rush the last little pieces, but I didn't want to be painting right through the noon hour. But you can see a few little accents at the end. Those shadow things kind of set everything in place and make the whites pop out. So
Now, are you going to do the other side of the screen door?
the other side of it.
There's a line there.
Oh, right up here?
Yeah, just a little on the left. It looks like that's the other edge of the screen door.
Yeah, like the screen door that's in
Yeah.
shadow. Maybe I should make
Yeah.
it darker.
No, I'm just looking at the rail and the railing and the screen door.
Okay, I'm
Just
not
trying
sure
to
what.
follow. I'm not
Yeah.
just trying to follow.
Yeah, I think I could put this too. I could put this screen, because this screen is in the shade. I'm going to make it darker. That's that. But the screen door is done. We're not doing anything more with that. And there's that little. Oh, and then I'm going to do a little bit of little shadow under here. So that step that I just put in, it's light on the top, it's darker there. I could put a little bit more. If I want to put a little more green, little flicks of green down here, I could. Yeah, okay. I say a few more. I want to get a little more darker greens down in here just to. Yeah, I think that's about it.
You're just doing
Where are the birds? In North Carolina?
Yeah, Diane, are those birds yours?
They might be mine.
Oh,
Is that
that's
right?
right. It's
Do you have an
Kurt.
open window? Do you have an open window?
I'm actually out on a back porch of our place
Oh,
we're staying at.
oh yeah, it's really very pleasant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
Kirk, it is you. That
Or is
is
it you
you.
whistling?
Every now and then you'll hear a golfer muttering because they hit it over here to the left. We're right on the third hole.
As long as we don't hear breaking glass.
Exactly. We do have a screened porch, so all protected.
This weekend is in North Carolina. So usually it's in Virginia.
Again, Dad, when you put that shadow on the flag, I was going, ah, but then when you're done, it looks just right. It's just the doing it is jumping off a cliff.
They like it or don't like
They thought it was going over the deep end.
it?
No, I really like it. It's just that the thought of doing it is just, you're like, "Ugh,
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm gonna mess everything up."
There's no coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you wiggle your brush over a lot, then all of a sudden all your lines will start to erase themselves or something.
So you really need to do that in just one
Yeah,
swipe.
just one. Yep, just some. Make sure you get your color about right and plenty of water, and just let it flow.
All right, now I'm gonna sign off. I think this will be a summer project for me.
Good, good.
Save the best for
I
last.
think on Wednesday you're gonna see a very washed out piece.
No. You always say that, and then you punch in
No.
some darks at the end, and it comes out great.
No, I have all
No,
kinds of.
no. Ellen.
But Diana, we missed you when you were not on. It was kind of a quiet class.
I don't know how to take that.
No, I was ready to say, is anybody out there? Is anybody there?
I know, I can't help talking to everybody.
That's fun. Yeah. And Woody's not here. And there are a couple
Yeah,
other
that's right.
there's 7 people. Josh wasn't here. 7 people are going to
That
work
couldn't
from the
make it
video
this time.
for different reasons.
Well, and again, for Bill, thank you for doing all that. It just,
Yeah.
Diana, I really missed hearing your voice at the beginning of the.
Right. Hey.
well, we'll see everybody on Wednesday, right?
Yes. Wednesday,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll take a picture of what I've done right now and send it out to all of you, so you'll have a hard copy or whatever you want to call it. And feel free to make adjustments as you go. More flowers, less flowers. You don't have to put the shadow on the flag if you don't want to, or you can put a shadow that's not as far down. So it's up to you. So anyway, have some fun, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.
Sounds
Good to
great,
see
Ned.
everybody.
Thanks.
All right.
It was good.
All right.
Good to see you all. All right.
Thanks,
See you
Ned.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ned.
See you Wednesday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Nana.